Hey everyone, Jay here. I got to play the beta of Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, the closed network test. Special thanks to Sega. I'm going to give you the lowdown, my initial thoughts. I will be comparing it a lot to All Stars Racing Transformed as it takes elements from it. Just so you know, this test was on the PS5 only, so that's what I was playing. So first off, let's talk about choosing our character and the customization you can do before we talk about races. So here are the characters currently available in the test. No new characters as of yet, though Zas is here, so we have to assume that the Deadly Six are in the game. Each character has parameters that go with their vehicle. Naturally, Sonic and Shadow are the speed characters, so putting them in their speedy type cars will maximize for top speed. Tails is accelerate, Knuckles is power, Amy handling, etc. Though you can put any character in any vehicle and even create a custom version with parts from different cars. I was able to mix and match characters with different cars to get a balance of stats. For example, Amy tends to be a handling type, but if I put her in, say, Sonic's car, she'll get somewhat less handling but way more speed than being in her own car. So you aren't just limited to characters staying in the same vehicle, you can customize your experience. In terms of what you can change, at the moment I was limited to the front, back and wheels of the car. You get to pick a color theme or customize your own, and it looks like stickers will be available. But I noticed there's more to do but wasn't in the test, so it seems there could be quite a bit to spruce up your car. Even purchase more parts if you have tickets that you earn in races. Pimp your ride, as it were. Gadgets are new to this game, which gives you various buffs in a race. This has me interested as it could really help change the tide. I will go over some of the examples a little later, but you have equipment slots and you unlock more as you race. The number on each gadget will determine how many slots it takes up. 1, 2, and 3. On to the meat of the game, the races. First off, this game looks visually beautiful. There is a lot going on these courses, very colourful. I could only do world matches in this test, so I was paired up with other players and bots. Controls are pretty straightforward. Hold down the X button to accelerate. Unlike All Stars Racing Transformed, you rev up at the start of a race and let go at the correct time to get a boost. Turning can be done via analog stick or directional buttons, drifts using the shoulder buttons, tricks can be formed by flicking the analog stick. The unique gimmick of this game is changing the course partway through a race. After roughly the first lap, the leading racer gets to decide between two courses they wish everyone to go through, mixing this up by changing the environment. Suddenly, we cross worlds. I get it. I love this idea. It's a huge appeal. It does not last the entire race, it will switch back to the main course for the final lap. Now, it seems these worlds we transitioned into are only available through these means. I don't think it's possible to say start in the Dino course. Hard to say since this is still early development, but so far you can only move over to these tracks via the warp rings. Still, I am very curious as to what we will see in the final release. What I will say about tricks is, I never felt punished when not fully landing. In All Stars Racing Transformed, you pretty much wipe out and lose all your speed. If there is a punishment, I did not notice it. I do feel like there needs to be something if you fail a trick. They work like Transformed. Do it to gain a level of boost up to 3, but it seems in a special occasion you can possibly get to level 4. I didn't see an option, but if the off chance Sega is actually watching this, I do think we need an option to toggle off the trick's voice lines, because you hear it every time you do a trick, and that can get a bit much. Now, I can't speak for Team Sonic Racing, but I'm going to assume most of these items are new. The All Stars item, your mask in Crash Team Racing, the You Are Invincible item, is replaced by turning into a monster truck where you temporarily squash other opponents. It does not last very long, especially compared to Transformed. Items range from a punching glove that may home in or bounce around, a warp ring to teleport to an opponent, defensive items like a shield or a whirlwind which can be offensive or defensive, to hazards such as spike balls. Just to give you an idea, this is very Mario Kart in terms of items. You're in 9th, suddenly in 2nd, and then 11th. Pretty standard when it comes to these sort of games, but I will touch up on that in a bit. Things to pay attention to in a race is your rings. The more rings you have, the faster you will go, like a lot of kart races. Wumpa Fruit in Crash Team Racing, coins in Mario Kart. You want to grab as many rings as you possibly can, as you will lose them constantly. The slipstream mechanic from Team Sonic Racing makes a return here. I had a hard time noticing this at first, and I feel like I didn't utilize it often, if very well, but it is definitely there, so take advantage of it. My favourite part of Transformed is the change in vehicles throughout the tracks, and they are back here. Pretty much the same, you turn into a boat in the sea and a plane in the flying sections. Make sure you master the drift because you really need it in this game. I had almost no room for error. If I wasn't drifting, I was smacking into edges or falling off the track. Let's talk about the two new mechanics to this game, gadgets and the bumper car mechanic. If you hit another player or collide with something like a corner, your car will bump like a bumper car and lose rings. I personally like this idea. I think this could be interesting. Now, gadgets can range from giving you a boost or give you rings if you bump into players, starting with an item, making it easier to get drift boost, quicker tricks, and a whole lot more, so it's important to choose carefully what benefits you want before going to a race. This adds another dynamic alongside items. However, there's something to be aware of. This game is chaotic, way more chaotic than Transformed was. Most of the time you feel confined as opposed to transformed, so guess what you will be doing a lot? Smacking into other cars. I was bumping so much I nearly started calling this game Sonic Bumper Cars. I never felt like anyone was way ahead. If I saw first place, second and third weren't far behind. It's not like Crash Team Racing where if you are skilled enough you can be leagues ahead of all the racers. Even when I was in first, I usually did not keep it long. I was either hit by an item or overtaken by another racer, hence why this feels more like Mario Kart with transformed elements. Now with the fact that you basically can get up to 3 items with gadget, bumper car mechanic on top of hazards naturally in the level, I can see an argument for it being a bit too much. Granted, part of the chaos is items, however 3 I think is a bit excessive, maybe 2 if not just 1. Perhaps you can hold 1 offensive item and 1 defensive item, or even a boost item. Not to mention graphically there's a lot on screen, there's 12 races. The chaos needs to be toned down just a bit I think. And chaos isn't even in this game. Not yet anyway. In terms of problems or bugs as such, I didn't run into much myself. It seems pretty stable. I never felt like the game bugged out in a race outside of online delay. Gotta love on your screen saying you are first when you finish a race, but then the results say you were 4th. Tragic. I did notice that some background stuff, mostly the chow in the waiting lobby or stands of a race, were running at a much lower frame rate, which hopefully will be sorted out for the final release. And I did get 1 communication error trying to join a race, but other than that, it was pretty smooth to be honest. But enough of my info jargon rambling. You want to know if it's fun, right? Well, yes, it's fun. It's very fun. It's carnage, chaotic fun. It's got what I love about All Stars Racing Transformed. The courses so far were great to race through, music choice is solid, has a lot of style and flair to it. I just hope that the final release will have a good offline mode. But playing with others, with friends and family, I mean, it's a kart racer, and from my experience so far, the potential to be an amazing kart racer. It's too early for me to say if it beats All Stars Racing Transformed, and I love that game, but it is a different experience despite taking some things from it. The only thing left that I didn't mention, no extreme gear in this build. The Sonic Riders hoverboards were sadly not available, so I can't comment on them yet. I have high hopes even more so after playing the beta. Once again, thanks to Sega for giving me a chance to try this out. But guess what? Do you want to see more of Sonic Racing CrossWorlds? Head on over to my streaming channel J Plays, where I played the game live and you get my first impressions. Link will be in the description. Looking forward to the future updates on Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, as I hope you do. Stick around, as I'm sure I will do more videos on Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. For now, be sure to check out my other Sonic videos on screen. See you next time.